Yes, welcome back to MindStrong, y'all. Thank you for tuning in again. Episode 4 live right now, and I'm here with a very special guest. All of my guests are special, but there's something about this one that's near and dear to my heart because he played basketball. Nah, let me stop. But this man has traveled to the Caribbean to teach young kids how to play basketball. He is a personal trainer. He is an amateur boxer. The man just came back from St. Louis fighting for his life again. Like, man.
Louisiana.
Not St. Louis, my bad. Louisiana. He had Welfit, Granville Gittins.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Monty, what is it?
What's that?
Two ball Monty?
Oh, the two ball Monty? Yeah, that's a drill Monty. Right there.
Nah, two ball Monty. That's
you like that one?
I like that. I like that. After the video, let me stop. All right, who's Welfit? Like, who is Welfit?
Who is Welfit? Well, if Welfit is a who, then right now Welfit is me. But also Welfit is my partners. Like in a way, you Welfit in an indirect way now because we working together on something. So, everybody that's in my radius, my clients are also Welfit. Absolutely, especially when we in sessions, training, physical fitness. But Welfit is also a brand. It's my brand. It's my fitness brand, health and wellness.
Yeah. What made you name it Welfit? Like, what made you name yourself Welfit? Because that's pretty much what people call him. I called him Welfit in the beginning, but in terms of like that being your brand, why Welfit? Like,
well, when the idea, the name came to me, I can't even remember exactly how it came to me. I think it was definitely when I was in Barbados. When I was in Barbados, and I'm Bajan, by the way. My family is Bajan. I was born here, but my family is from Barbados mostly. I got one grandmother from down south, so my grandmother's African American, but I would call myself a Bajan Yankee. Right, so as a Bajan Yankee, I got like heavy Caribbean culture, Bajan culture in my heritage, right? So when I was down there, I don't know exactly how the idea came to me, but I know that the concept of being a personal trainer, of being an entrepreneur, training people, I was actually working with my friend, Ridge Boyce. He might, I don't know how you feel about me saying his name out, but his brand is Life with Ink. And his logo is just ink. And so he kind of inspired Welfit of what it is, the essence of Welfit. He supported me and inspired me. And gave me that kind of energy, seeing him and how he does his tattoo business as an artist in general, as an entrepreneur, a businessman, trying to bring people and ideas and concepts together. So Welfit kind of generated out of that. And then when I thought of Welfit, wellness, fitness, it kind of just meshed, and it rolls off the tongue. It has a good little like coolness to it. So I was just like, that's it, Welfit. And then Ridge actually helped me as an artist, as a basically like a Photoshop master. He helped me draft out my logo, which is basically a WF using lines and negative space. And he asked me to give me some ideas. I had an idea with the WF was always there, like kind of inspiration from like WWF. The old WWF logo, stuff like that. True. And I wanted to think like, what's a strong symbol of some strength and fitness and like freedom, and so I was thinking about like eagles and mountains above the W and all this different stuff, and we hashed it out. And basically, he just came out with a real simple, dope looking just WF that came out. And when people look, or when you look, the logo probably by now. So when people look at the logo, they'll see.
They see what it represents off of face value. Right.
It has a balance to it. It has a strength, angles, triangles, different angles and shapes. Same thing that we work with in fitness, 90-degree angles, acute angles. They all have different strength and usefulness in how we utilize our muscles and our skeleton and our bodies.
And if you want to check out any of this, on his Instagram page, Welfit, @Welfit. If you want to check out any of this, it's gonna be right above his head. Just making sure y'all know. What was going on at my age?
At your age, I was in school. You know, when I was in, you know, more in the earlier stages of my 20s, right? Like, there was a lot going on. What I was doing was I was playing ball, and I was in college. I was at Baruch College, which is a CUNY school, City University in New York. Just trying to graduate, trying to get my degree, trying to figure things out, trying to figure out life, trying to be focused. You know, it's a long story about how I got to where I was at and what makes people who they are. But at that point in my life, I just had basketball and I had school. And I was telling myself, school and basketball, school and basketball. Because that's the only thing that I saw that was positive that I had. That's what I saw that I had to use to progress, to be on that upward trajectory. So I was trying to just focus on that pretty much. I was just navigating college, and you know, people, we all in the same society, so we all know like what we're dealing with in different areas. I was just dealing with the same things at school and in sports, and trying to just stay solid and do the right things.
I feel that. Like that's a major key. That's a major, because I just feel like, I ask that question because I feel like for the people that's watching, or for anybody that watches, anybody that hears somebody that has a mindset of yours right now, I feel like their journey is very important. Where they've come from, what their mindset was at a certain point, how they've gotten to this point. Think about it how you thought about it, or how you're looking at it now. Like, you know what I mean? I could think about a lot of people that I grew up with that are either dead or in jail, you know what I mean? At my young age, right now, you know what I mean? So, like, for me personally, I use my elders as my own mentors, you know? Everybody that's older than me is a mentor to me. You know
Absolutely,
what I mean? Like, whether I agree with you or don't agree with you. So I feel like your story is very important.
I wouldn't call myself an elder. I'm older than you, but I wouldn't call myself your elder quite yet, but I get what you're saying. I understand where you're coming from. But I'm trying to get to that elder stage. I think we need to all strive to get to 40. When you get 40, somebody that was an elder told me this, that when you get 40, it's like something special happens, like some next level.
My uncle literally says life don't start until you're 40. That's so funny that you're saying that, because he tells me that all the time. Like don't start until you're 40. Like life ain't start yet for you yet. You know, like, what are you talking about? But that makes sense. That actually makes sense. Like, first 40 years of your life, like, what's really going on?
Right.
Growth, development, understanding. By 40, you understand who your friends are, who not really your friends. I mean, certain things you understand more so about yourself than you would at 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I can understand that to a degree. How important do you feel mentors are?
The utmost importance. There's a lot of people talk about therapy, but I think mentorship is like a more proactive, the next step of therapy. You know, speaking to someone who, because a therapist is like, it's their job. There's a lot of gaps, and just in terms of thought and like who can help who. Like, can any therapist help anybody? I don't think so. I've been to therapy sessions at my school because people always tell me you need therapy and you need this and you need that, just because they don't agree with me or don't understand me, or because I'm not fitting in. When I wasn't fitting into society, people will be like, you know, like if an incident happened, you know, rarely has the first thing before you need to go and talk to someone, and because to deal with your issues, dealing with the environment and the situation, has anyone ever said, this environment and this situation is not healthy for you? And furthermore, sometimes there's even a time when like that person has had power in the situation. I've had coaches, I've had, you know, business associates, you know, and like I'm dealing with them on these issues that the incident is about. Like, you know, if I had like conflict in school with my team, or if I had a conflict or an incident, you know, because I'm dealing with emotional stress, like anger or something like that, or any type of a physical altercation with a teammate, anything that may happen, the first thing is not like, okay, is there anything that we can do to make it better for you? It's more defensive. You're the problem. Yeah,
you're doing something wrong.
That's what it is, because that's the implication of what it is that you're the problem, even if they don't say that directly, because they're addressing you and telling you to go address yourself, which is valid. I think everybody should be self-accountable, but they're not being self-accountable because they have a place and a role in the situation. But if it may be an authority figure, a coach, or if it may, this is for basketball players, right? And everyone is fallible, so this is not to rag on anybody from my past, right? But it's just speaking on the situations and how everyone could do better, maybe, from my perspective, right? Like,
you say a mentor helps with that.
a mentor is basically somebody that should be giving you counseling, and the therapy is a form of mental health counseling.
So before it gets to the mental health counseling, people need just regular
You need a mentor. You need a mentor to counsel you. There's been times when I was like, all right, I'll go try this therapy at school that they have at the mental health office or whatever. And those people either didn't want to see me or didn't make the effort to see me, or didn't even want to see me, or I got the feeling like they didn't understand me. I was maybe overwhelming, I was too much for them. A lot of these people, they come from wherever they come from and they start doing psychology, and you start unloading on them and you're about to blow their whole mind out. You gotta have a certain type of person. Certain type of people have to have a certain type of person. Then that's where a mentor come in.
They say people that go through addiction, you can't be an addiction counselor if you've never went through addiction. If you've never overcome addiction, you cannot be an addiction counselor, and that's really a rule. So it's very interesting that you say that, because for social workers and counselors, there's not, the people that are now taking those roles are not from the same environment or situation of the kids that are involved in it. That's the compelling factor. You've never lived through this. A child will tell a counselor, yo, I just witnessed 3 of my friends die during this Christmas break. I didn't have food for the last 3 days. I had to come to school early to get some food. My mother got arrested. My father, don't know where he's at. Like, how do you expect a counselor that never even remotely understand hunger? You know what I mean? To understand that. Like, so yeah, that's very compelling. The mentorship goes into what or how that kid or the youth would represent themselves. If you was never to see this kid again, what would you say to him about mentorship? Or how to even get a mentor?
I would say to appreciate it. And if you want to get anything, you have to go out and get it. Like, as the famous saying goes.
If you want anything, you gotta go and get it. What? If you want anything, you gotta go and get it. It's gonna be on the street somewhere. It's gonna be on the street somewhere. But yo, what? Yeah. That's the one right there. That's the one. But continue, my fault.
Yeah, so I don't know, I think like some generations and some kids, they're not taught that, or they don't how to seek anything. They're taught that things supposed to come to them, or things supposed to be easy. Also, there's like a lot of communication issues with newer generations, just because like the direction of, I ain't gonna blame technology, but the direction of like certain aspects of technology, maybe social media, like just certain ways that we're disconnected and affect our communication skills. So some kids don't know how to go or just don't have the confidence and the experience to go and say, hey, what's up? I appreciate what I see you doing. Do you have any advice for me? It's that simple, first and foremost, right? You have to go and seek the advice and guidance. So go and ask a mentor, like, do you know of any opportunities? There's nothing wrong with saying, do you know of any opportunities for somebody like me, because I'm interested in what you're doing and it's connected, it seems like something I would like to get into. And then that's literally how I got opportunity for Baruch. I didn't have the grades for Baruch, but I got an opportunity because somebody came to my school when I was at basically a charter school, public school, and he was working for the program college now. His name is Tony Davis. I'm gonna put his name out there, Tony Davis. And he's like he's from Harlem, real Harlem head, old head, kinda old head, but like young, youthful spirit, ball player. And me and him just had that levity, like that level of, he appreciated me coming to him, speaking to him and asking for opportunity, and he worked with me and I put in the work. So you gotta, as a young person, you gotta put in the work. You can't just expect people to come and give you handouts. That's the main
Especially
thing.
as you get older.
Yeah.
The older you get, the less handouts you get.
Real talk, but no matter what, it's never gonna be no handouts.
Never gonna be.
Maybe your family and maybe your mother, you know, your mama, maybe, or your father or your aunties and your uncles and all these different people will hand you down shoes, will hand you down this, give you a little cash, give you this and that. But at the end of the day, life ain't gonna give you shit, and the real world ain't gonna give you shit. I believe that. You gotta go and take it, you gotta put in work.
Gotta put in that work. Even if you want a mentor, the mentors is there. You don't want the mentor. How important is eating healthy?
Eating healthy is of the utmost importance of your physical health and your mental health, because everything is connected. I am not like a certified nutritionist. I don't really do much nutritional stuff, but people ask me a lot. People always talk to me about nutrition. So in a way, I am a nutritionist just by default. But I'm just saying, I'm not certified and all that, right? But it's very important. As a matter of fact, it's more important for people's goals more often than not than the work that they do in the gym. Most of the time, if somebody would just stop drinking sugar drinks, like just overindulging on like dairy, fat, oil, grease, fried, this and that, right? And they would meet their goal without even touching the gym sometimes. Like you would be surprised how much 10 pounds, 20 pounds even over a certain amount of time that you could lose of body fat if you just stop drinking soda, for example, for a lot of people. Overindulging, not controlling themselves, eating bare donuts and this and that. We need more of a balance, where our culture is off balance in a lot of ways. American culture in general. I was out in Louisiana. I didn't see one fit person. Like, people not supposed to be obese, or what do I mean by not supposed to be, right? Obesity is not healthy. Certain amount of inactivity and certain type of eating is not healthy. That's our culture. Like, they give us huge portions. But if you really go back to how humans evolved and what we were doing when we evolved, there was a lot of hunter-gathering. There's very few hunter-gathering cultures remain in the world.
A few that even know how to hunt or gather.
Right. The lifespan, I think the lifespan was a lot shorter too, but a lot of that has to do with healthcare, science, and surgeries and this and that, in ways that they just keep people alive. They can keep people alive that like certain organs gone, they'll keep them alive. You know what I mean? Like, if their heart go, they could keep you going nowadays, if you got the money and all that, right? But basically, it just needs to be a certain balance. I think people just need to eat more ground provisions in general.
That live foods, things,
right.
stuff that are living.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not an extremist, so I don't say like people should not ever eat meat. I think there are cultures that are ancient cultures that have been eating meat for thousands of years.
Cultures that eat raw meat, straight raw meat. I think it's Native American. There was a culture that they just ate raw slabs of meat, like, steak, pork, whatever the hell. No, I think it was a specific kind of meat, but it wasn't like they would just eat it and it didn't have to be cooked, none of that. Okay. There's
a culture in East Africa, the name is slipping my mind, but they're hunter-gatherers. You'll notice that their body types, they're not consuming the amount of calories that we're consuming. And also they're not consuming the chemicals that we're consuming, because we pump a lot of chemicals into our meat, into our vegetables, pesticides, GMO stuff. A lot of people are aware of the GMO issue, genetically modified organisms or organisms with different chemicals. There's different levels to it. It's how much you eat, it's what you eat, it's what's inside of what you eat. Is it natural or unnatural? And it takes a long time to have this perspective on all these things and form a habit. That's why it's really difficult for people. And also, everybody genetically is different. So you can't tell somebody that what's working for you or for working for one person is going to work for them. It really takes effort. It really takes focus and motivation, priority, and organization, and a journey to figure out, this is what works for me. These are my goals. These are my issues. These are my goals. This is where I am today. This is where I want to be. This is what I need to eat. What works for me? What works for my skin? What works for my eczema? What works for my joints, my joint pain, all these different issues.
But would you say the aspect of like being fit contributes to that in more ways than one?
What you eat?
Yeah, like what you eat contributes to how you think. What you eat contributes to how physical you're gonna be. What you eat.
Yeah, and definitely, because what you eat gives you energy. Carbohydrates give you energy. Vitamins and minerals, which are the micronutrients, which are the vitamins and minerals that you get in the food that you eat, like the calcium, the vitamin D, which is also what we get from the sun, which activates calcium, which makes your bones strong. Vitamin C, which everybody takes for their immune system. Like, these are just examples. And then you have iron, which needs to be in our blood. Iron builds the blood. If you have an iron deficiency, then you become anemic and this and that, right? So that's why it's good to eat balance. And then these things give you energy. They help your body's function. You help your brain function, your eyes, your skin, all of your organs, your muscles function in the way that they're supposed to. So if you're just eating if you're eating nutrient abundant food, then you're gonna function better, generally speaking. And natural herbs and like herbal teas that help with energy, like you can get herbal powders, you can get herbal teas. If you consume more calories than you burn, you're going to gain weight. Most people are focused in one way or another on their body fat, and their immediate issue is their caloric intake. People want to either tone or they want to get more bulky. Men want to get more bulky, especially the upper body. Women want to tone or slim down, but they want to build. Women want to get more bulky with their hips and their legs and their glutes. Most women, or at least most women in our culture. Some women want to be real skinny. It depends on your culture and who you are, right? But basically, if you want to increase size then you have to build muscle. You need protein and you need calories more than you burn. If you want to lose size, then you need to intake less calories than you burn. And that's the foundation.
Y'all better be getting these tips from personal trainer right here. Like, this is
right here, man. What's up? Stop playing.
Man, y'all playing, man. What inspired you to become a personal trainer?
I would say, you know what? Simple answer, short answer, before I elaborate, my father. Because he's the one who made sure I was active. He's the one who was like, nah, you can't be sitting in the house all day. When I wanted to be playing Grand Theft Auto and Need for Speed on PlayStation, he's the one who got me the PlayStation, but at the same time, he didn't let me play that all day. He was like, all right, now let's go outside. When I was a little kid, when I was a little toddler, we're going outside, you're gonna run around. I'm not gonna have you running around in the house. Go outside, run around, from playing on the jungle gym, hang from the monkey bars, all that. And then that mentality is probably the foundation of why I became, then he put the basketball in my hand. That's a quote from He Got Game. He put the ball, I put the ball in your crib. I put the ball in your crib, son. He forced me to play basketball, bro, when I didn't appreciate the opportunity to learn the trade, to learn the skill. Because, when you're a kid, you kind of just want to try different things, and maybe his methods weren't always the most motivating and inspiring, but at the end of the day, he forced me to play basketball and forced me to go outside and run around. So that's why I got into fitness. And then in the long run, it's what I knew. It became what I knew as an athlete, as a basketball player, is what saved me from just having nothing else. And nothing else better to do. Like, I had nothing else better to do than to play ball. So then I had nothing, then I realized I had nothing else. And then ball is a tool to education, so for some people. For a lot of young black men, basketball is the only tool towards education. It's nobody's really, they have the stories, they have the feel-good stories, like nowadays, like trying to promote more than that, trying to promote science and tech for people who don't typically see themselves in that role, right? But that's what reality for a lot of people. Yeah, but I think physical activity is my fault. Go ahead.
No, it's those other aspects are sometimes not the reality for a lot of communities. Like, it could be like the basketball is usually, like we were saying earlier, it's the basketball court in every hood.
Yeah,
it's not.
But it's not. That's not healthy. It should be more than basketball. It should be more than.
Yeah, definitely.
It should be more than basketball. Being a rapper as the only not negative, super destructive ways things to do, or art forms, or forms of expression. We need lawyers, we need bankers, we need every aspect, every trade, every profession. But it just so happens that basketball is, you know how some people say ball is life? Ball really was life for me. For 4 years straight when I was in college, for my whole life, all I knew. And then when I got away from that, it hurt me to know, like, damn, I'm not really gonna be in the A. If you really had hoop dreams for real, and that shit was really feasible, then, and people tell you, you know, like, you can do this, you're gonna do this and this and that, and you start actually performing on that level, even as a young kid, if your hoop dreams get shot, then that's like a form of death. As a matter of fact, NBA players, when their career is over, if they're not careful, any professional athlete, grown men, overseas, NBA, whatever it is, college players, when they have to make the transition, when I had to make the transition into my career, into my life after school, after basketball, am I gonna be a professional basketball player? What am I gonna do for my career, for a living? That can be very dangerous and difficult to make that transition.
That's right. Yeah. A lot of people straight out of high school, basketball, nice basketball players, come gang members. Like. Yeah,
exactly.
Like, where's the correlation? Like, where does it correlate?
Well, there is no correlation. That shows you how prevalent gang culture was, or how vital for their life, anything positive, that basketball was.
Yeah, that's a fact. The basketball aspect is a big one, but you would say basketball and your father helped you in the stride to become a personal trainer?
Yes, because it made me grown doing physical activity. Like, even when I went to the islands and I linked up with my cousins, for 2 weeks I'd jump in the water, you know, just different physical activity in general, not only basketball. Learning how to swim, learning how to run, learning how to jump. These are all skills. It's like some people just have different body types, right? Different genetics, different races, different people got different genetics. But at the end of the day, you can learn how to be more explosive and how to jump with a certain form. You can learn how to swim. You can learn how to do anything. Element Fitness is he's my mentor, and he was a friend. He was a friend, my father's friend, and also a cousin. He's also a Gittins. His family is from Grenada, so he's like a distant cousin, but more than anything, family friend and mentor. And he been in the game as fitness for like over 20 some odd years. So when I came back from Barbados, in Barbados is where I made the decision. That was where I became a fitness professional in Barbados. Because when I first went there, I went there to like see if I could continue my education, become like a school counselor while coaching basketball and doing my own thing on the side. But then in Barbados, I was like, nah, I need to do my own thing on the front. My shit need to be on the front, right? So that's what, it just took over naturally. It just took over. And so when I got back to New York, when I decided, okay, now I need to go back home to New York and evolve, because I don't have enough power here in Barbados right now at this level to really do certain things. So I decided to come back to New York, and I reconnected with my cousin, Anthony Gittins, Element Fitness. And he immediately welcomed me in and offered me that mentorship, that guidance, put me in places because I sought out his help, and he respected me enough to assist and take me on under his wing. So that was like the last piece of the puzzle as I became a fitness professional here in New York City. In Barbados, I just found myself as a person, as a human, spiritually, and in a lot of ways, it was like a missing piece to my character as an American born and raised. With that other experience, I went back. It's like a step back towards where my family is from,
your roots.
My roots, right?
Right back to the roots.
And then step in that journey, going in reverse to Africa. I haven't made that step yet, but I'm gonna make that step. I'm gonna go back to the motherland, as they call it. But in Barbados, it really showed me a lot. It showed me what you don't get to see as an American, a different side of things, a different way of thinking.
Everybody needs to travel. Statistically, a lot of people don't even leave their hometown.
Yeah.
Like, ever, their whole life.
Traveling is important.
Very important. Does working out for you make a difference?
Yes, absolutely, working out makes a difference. Whatever your fitness goals are, you definitely need to work out. If not for big muscles, there's so many benefits of just getting your heart rate up, getting your heart to beat for a certain amount of time, getting your blood flow to the joints, to the limbs, outer extremities. It's basically like if you let a car sit and you don't run the engine, it basically decays. But if you start up the engine, you run it.
Some people treat their car
better than their body. Yeah, absolutely. Most people treat their car better than they treat themselves because they're not trying to spend that money on that car.
Oh man.
But they're not thinking about the money that they're gonna have to spend on their body to stay alive, or the fact that their life might run out in a couple years, in like 10, 15 years. We take life for granted.
No, that's a fact. No, that.
I believe that.
For granted.
I believe that.
Yo, we take, we take life for granted. Probably the most key point towards working out or staying fit or staying, or eating right. You know what I mean? Your longevity. That's probably the biggest thing for the Black community. Longevity, mental health. Like, that's literally our last episode. I feel like you're a big stamp for that, you know, because there's not a lot of people promoting that specifically, you know what I mean, in a positive outlooking way.
Especially in our community, especially in the Black community, inner city Black community. I mean, there are Black communities that are not in the inner city and that are not like lower income level, but in a lot of ways, just our culture in general, no matter where you go, is not promoting health and it's not promoting longevity. Definitely not longevity. It's promoting fast life, you know, a lot of material stuff, a lot of, but we, if I, like me as a trainer, if I want to find people who really value my service, honestly, and it doesn't only have to do with the income level. I think to a certain degree it does mentally, but honestly, people in our community don't value my service enough to where I could make a good living and just serve them. And I think this is true for a lot of professions. I don't know exactly what it has to do with. I think there's a lot of different reasons for that. But as speaking specifically as a fitness trainer, a lot of people in our community, we don't value our health, physical or mental health, culturally. And I think that needs to change. We're trying to change it. There are those who are trying to change it. But it's real tough when you're trying to fight that battle and you care about, trying to help people be healthier and happier, and they're not valuing the service, or they're not valuing themselves and their own mental health and physical health.
Because it's bigger to you than just, I'm gonna do the session for you, but you're not really taking heed to the teachings that we're doing or to the workout that we're doing. You're just spending your money and going back to doing the same liberty that you've been doing the whole time to get you to this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's always a struggle. That's always a struggle with any client that's starting in a place where they need to get their level up. But if the person is not even giving me an opportunity and valuing my service, and they're like, $60, like that's nothing. $60, nah. But they'll go and they'll buy some sneakers real quick, or like this same person, not everybody, I'm not trying to paint everybody with a broad stroke, but culturally, a lot of people that look at things such as my service as too expensive, they will let some doctor, sometimes different kind of people, I'm not speaking only on Black people now, I'm talking in general, as a culture, American culture, a society, like they'll take advice, they'll take drugs, legal drugs from pharmaceuticals, and they'll value that and they'll just take it. The vaccination, right? I'm not anti-vax per se, but they will inject some experimental shit into their arm. This just shows you like they'll take that and they'll pay money for certain things, for doctor, for healthcare, but preventative things like what I do is very preventative. It's proven, it's science. Let me just say this to the people. The biggest diseases that we suffer from are heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Diet and exercise, if you watch what you consume, it's not easy. I ain't saying it's easy, but you can prevent diabetes, you can prevent heart disease. Heart disease is like the biggest killer of the African people in America.
That's actually number one.
Number one. Diet and exercise.
I think that's number one. Like,
right. So when I think about things like that and I put it into perspective, it makes you look at certain issues that people care about and complain about, or like the way how we approach healthcare. It just makes I have a very different perspective. I look at it differently.
Them topics about healthcare, boy, because we could talk about that all day. In hindsight, it's just like it's a lot of things that have to do with the black community that we could talk about for forever. Because it's like it's more so societal constructed that way than by our own wants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we just have to realize that. That's, I mean, would you ever make a book?
Yeah, I would. I used to write poetry. I used to want to be a rapper, yeah. who hasn't had that phase or that? But I really used to, like, from a young age, I used to have like MP3 players that could record my voice. So I'll play a beat and record my voice and the beat, like rapping stuff that I wrote from a real young age.
You was in the future, in the past. Oh, I didn't even know that. The word, what? Yeah. They had that back then, the word.
Yeah, they had some real cheap little MP3 players could hold like 60 songs or something on it, like just a certain amount of songs. It was called SanDisk. The old heads maybe know about the SanDisk MP3.
SanDisk.
Yeah, you just put your USB joint, you put your MP3s on the SanDisk through USB. Yeah, that was
a DVD player. No,
that was before that was right before iPods got big. That was right when
small iPod.
Yeah, it's like basically the early, like it was basically before iPod took over. Now iPhone is just everything in one.
Yeah. So in terms of that, like,
so writing.
So because I feel like in terms of what we were just saying with the mentorship, like certain stories like yours is important for the youth. You know what I mean? It's important to me personally. You know what I mean? I feel like everybody should understand, have an understanding, be able to get this insight. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even if it is the counselor that's going into a job that she may not understand the kids. Maybe she could read a Granville Giddens book and actually understand a Caribbean American child that may not understand the fabrics of America.
That's a great point. I never really thought about it like that. That's a great point. I'm gonna get on that book for you, man. I'm gonna get on that book.
Yo, listen, because me personally, I see a lot of Caribbean Americans that come over from Barbados, Jamaica, St. Vincent, Grenada, whatever, and most of the time they just join gangs. Like I remember throughout high school, all the Haitians that was coming, all of the Haitian descendants that was coming from Haiti was going into a gang. You know what I mean? It was like it was crazy. Like, I mean, to each his own, but at the same time, like, what's dragging you into that?
I think in a way it's natural. I heard somebody discussing this recently. I think in a way it's natural. It has a lot to do with our community again. That's the way our community is.
Back into the community aspect.
Yeah, but people group. That's what people do. People are tribal and group themselves. It doesn't necessarily have to be violent.
True.
It's not natural to be violent. True. Especially for black people, for Africans, it's not natural to be violent, but
separation is.
But violence is.
Separation is normal now.
Not even separation. Well, maybe now, yeah, but just in generally speaking, you're gonna have groups. You're gonna have different groups, different sects, different cultures, different ethnic groups. Everything that they call a tribe in Africa is a different ethnic group. Different genetics, like even within what we call black people, is actually ridiculous. That concept of black people to me is ridiculous on the low. I don't talk about it much, but it's ridiculous just because of how many different ethnic groups and types of black people there are on the planet Earth. Not only on continent of Africa. You know what I'm saying? Like there's dark people in Asia. There's people that you would think is African in India, in Indian territory. Sentinelese. Everybody go and research the Sentinelese people.
Sentinelese.
I think that's it.
Sentinelese. It's gonna be right above us. Sentinelese.
Black people in India, an ancient black culture on an island in India. Y'all probably heard about it before, because anybody that goes there is on site. They shooting arrows.
Yeah, I know.
You try to bring Christianity, you try to bring your religion, they shooting arrows.
Yeah.
You try to fly over with a helicopter, they aim at arrows, letting you know, come down.
If you could go back 15 years into the past, 15 years, so 15 years from right now, what would you tell your younger self?
I would tell my younger self, man, be yourself, be fearless. First and foremost, be fearless. Don't waste out life chasing numbers and money and concepts based off of how other people see you. Don't try to impress nobody. Don't care, don't fear how anybody else see you. Just be yourself, live free. And, you know, be a gentleman and a scholar. Learn, be kind to others, but don't take no shit from nobody. And just be you and grow in you. You know, like God will show you the path. The right people will come to you, the light souls and the light spirits of light, the mentors, they will come to you and there will be opportunities. Go towards them and just be fearless.
Fearless.
Yeah.
Be fearless. MindStrong. Fearless. Wealthy. Be fearless.
Absolutely.
Ain't nothing in this world you can't get. Be fearless, y'all.
Absolutely.
Man, anything else, man?
That's it.
Anything else you want to tell the people, man?
I just want to express gratitude and appreciation. Shout out to everybody behind the scenes. Thank you also.
Yeah, Vision
Squad.
Nightmare LLC. Day, we in the back. You already know. MindStrong. We out. You know.